Hello. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing tonight? Hello. Welcome live. This is my second night in this community, and I want to say a big thank you to Prophet Michael Massa, Prophet Massa, and everybody in this amazing community. I had an amazing time yesterday. I was so excited about it. I was excited, and I enjoyed myself yesterday. I must be sincere. Um, I enjoyed myself yesterday. I came on, and let me just do something right quick. Sorry, I'm just doing something right quick. Sorry. Yes. I'm excited. I'm excited that I was warmly welcomed into this community, this amazing community, and the feelings got me back. Because I was really received well and I was loved. People showed me a lot of love, so I'm here again, and I think you're gonna see a lot of me. You're gonna see a lot of me from now on because I love to teach, and I love to study. I love to learn. I love to share. I love to read comments, and I love to reply them. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm still getting my hands around this YouTube thing. This literally my second time broadcasting live. I teach on other platforms, and I teach in the congregation as well. So this actually my second day of teaching, and I'm excited to come your way tonight. I want to talk about I want to talk about who created evil, or if you want to say who made evil, but I prefer who created evil. If we have evil in our world today, and if evil exists in our world today, then I want to understand, or I want all of us to discuss it. Who created evil? If you have an idea of who created evil, you can come online. I'll read it. I'll read your idea. I want to read some few comments before I want to read some few comments before I go ahead with what I have to say tonight. And I'm going to read a letter that is in the public domain. It's a very common letter. You probably might have heard it, but I'm going to read, and I'm going to connect it to why I'm treating this subject: who created evil, and how did evil even exist? How did the evil come to pass, and what is called evil? What is described as evil? So if you're online, I can see three people online. Please share with me if you know what evil is. Can you just share with me if you know what evil is, or if you know who created evil? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Who created evil is what I want to know. If you know who created evil, please let me know. Let me know. Anybody want to go for it? Anybody want to tell me something? Who created evil? If you're online, um, anybody want to say who created evil? Um, I want to connect this subject that I'm treating right now, with a letter I'm going to read, and this letter I'm going to read is going to tell you about what our fathers used to practice and what our fathers knew, and popes. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Somebody is saying, I didn't really get a name. He's saying the popes created evil. The popes created evil. That's an interesting way to look at it. Anybody else? Anybody else want to tell me who created evil? Who created evil? So I'm still waiting on that before I literally dive into it. But I want to read this letter because many a times we are taught to believe our fathers didn't have spirituality, and our fathers didn't know spirituality. And when I say our fathers, I'm talking about our ancestors. And when I'm talking about our ancestors, I don't want you to go too far. I need you to just look past 4 or 5 generations in your family. Just look down the line, 4 or 5 generations in your family, and that becomes your ancestor. Just 4 or 5 generations. So meaning your father's father, right? Or your mother's mother. That line is so. Don't look too far as to Abraham or Isaac. Don't go there. Just go 5 generations down the line, and that directly, even your father's father become your ancestor, but your great great ancestors. I think the devil created evil because Yah refers to him as the father of evil. Okay, so somebody's telling me I think the devil created evil because Yah refers to him as the father of evil. Anybody else? Anybody else want to tell me who created evil? Who do you think created evil? Where did evil come from? Where did evil come from? Who created evil? So I've read two. One is saying popes. One is saying the devil because I mean you mean Yeshua referred to the devil as the father of all evils, right? So who else? Who else? Who else? The third person should write something. Who created evil? Who created evil? So I want to read this letter because many of us we are told that our fathers didn't understand spirituality, and somebody had to come and die and save our fathers. Somebody had to come and shed his blood and save our fathers, and that is the only way our fathers were going to have salvation and be saved and have eternal life and enjoy heaven. So we've been told this story. So majority of us run by this story and believe by this story and live by this story and operate and have their being by this story. But it's sad to disappoint you because when you look beyond the story of Yeshua, or Yeshua or Jesus, how you want to call it, if you look beyond the story of him, then I want to ask the question, what happens to those that lived prior to him? Or not even prior to him. I mean Christianity has been in Africa for about 400 and something years. Christianity has been in Africa for 400 and something years, right? So what I want to ask is that before 400 years, what practice, what religion, what did our fathers believe in? What did our fathers believe in? Because if like my brother is saying that if the popes created evil, then it means evil didn't exist till the popes came on the scene. You get it? If the popes created evil, then it means that evil didn't exist until the popes came on the scene. And if the devil created evil, it means that evil didn't exist before the devil. So if evil didn't exist before the devil, shalom, shalom, Ivan. How you doing, brother? How you doing? How you doing? The family, the ministry is great. The ministry, everybody in the ministry is doing great. So if the devil created evil, then it means that evil didn't predate the devil. So the devil came, then evil followed the devil, right? Then it means the creator did not create all things. That's what I'm saying. If the devil created something called evil, it means that the devil created something that exists in our time. For the devil created something, and the Almighty, the Creator, did not create all things. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else created something to exist, then it means that somebody else has the power to create other things to exist. You understand? And if you want to say the popes created evil, then it means that before the popes, evil didn't exist because the popes were in the system about a little about 200 AD, that way about. From after 70 AD, basically, that's when the popes started coming into the system, right? So before 70 AD, you want to tell me there was no evil? Before the 70 AD, you want to tell me there was no evil? Or before the devil came into the system, you want to say there's no evil? I want to put this across that. Listen, the scripture says that the Almighty created all things. The Most High created everything. And he saw that everything that he created was good. Yesterday, I was touching on the subject that darkness is not evil. Because most time, people associate darkness with evil. So once we treated the subject, darkness is not evil. Those of you who missed yesterday, if you missed yesterday, you can go to the previous video, you see. Darkness is not evil, right? So if darkness is not evil and evil is not darkness, then it means darkness is different from evil. If darkness is different from evil, then who created evil? Because the scripture says that what? Everything that exists was created by the Almighty. So who created evil? Do you get what I'm saying? Genesis, let's go to the scriptures. Genesis 2 verses 9. Genesis 2 verses 9 says what? And out of the ground made the Creator to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight. Don't go, don't go, don't go. Okay. Segapo Manche, right? Hope I got the name right. Segapo. Say Caesar was an Italian politician and whose fight for power was a major inspiration for the Prince of, and he was an illegitimate son of Pope Alexander via so the little horn. Okay, I want to read your point, but that's what I'm saying. If you want to say the popes created evil or invented evil, then it means evil didn't exist before the popes. It means evil does not predate before the popes. But when you go to Genesis 2:9, Genesis 2:9 says what? And out of the ground made the Creator to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. Out of the ground, the Creator created, not the devil, not the popes, not Satan, the Creator. He created out of the ground every tree that is good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil was created by the Creator according to the Genesis story. So if you believe the scriptures and if you believe that it is true, then the scriptures is telling you that evil was created by the Creator in the garden. Evil was created. Oh, that's how we say it in our local dialect. We call the Creator Obadia, which Obadia simply means the one mighty, the mighty Creator, the one and only who created everything. So we say Obadia in our local dialect. Obo idea, the one that creates. So the one that creates created everything and created the tree in the garden, the tree that had knowledge, the tree that had good and evil, had the knowledge of good and evil. So there's a knowledge of good and there's a knowledge of evil, right? The question is, where did this knowledge of evil and the knowledge of good exist from? Because when you read Genesis 1:1, Genesis 1 says what? And in the beginning, he created the heavens of heavens, the heaven of heavens, he created the heavens, and he created the earth. Job done, case closed, it's done, kaput, it's finished, right? He created the heavens and everything that existed in the heavens, and he created the earth and everything that existed in the earth in the beginning. It sounds a bit shallow, but that is what the creation story is telling us, right? In the beginning, he created everything, right? Then everything got destroyed. Then he restored everything from Genesis 1:2. He restored everything from Genesis 1:2. So now the question is, if he restored the tree of good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the midst of the garden, it means that before the world got destroyed the first time, pre-Adamics, before everything else, before Adam, evil still existed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Evil predated Adam. So even before Adam came into this world, evil existed. But he saw everything that he created and said everything was good. So the evil he created was good, just as the good that he created. Now you need to understand that he created good and he created evil. These two makes each other exist. Each of these two complement each other. It means without the other, they can't exist. They exist because each other support each other to exist. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the Creator created evil and saw that evil was good. So therefore, the devil did not create evil. The creator of the universe, the one that created all things, the one that created Adam, created the universe, the dimensions, is the same person that created evil, not the popes, not Christianity. Evil had always been in existence. When we quantify it in energies, then we say we have the positive energy and the negative energy. But these two energies exist to help each other perform better, function better. Evil is knowledge. Good is knowledge. So we have the knowledge of evil and we have the knowledge of good. You know what I'm saying? Another day, I will go into the knowledge of evil and the knowledge of good another day. Do you know what I'm saying? Genesis 2:17 says, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, though of evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. When somebody is making a statement and they say, you know what, you're not supposed to ever touch this. But in the day, or for in the day that you touch this, meaning literally this person is enticing you to touch the thing. For in the day that you touch, it means there's a day coming. It's inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. This day is coming, and whether you like it or not, you are definitely going to touch this thing. Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, so the Creator created Adam, right? And this is the all-knowing being. This being, this power, the Creator, the source of life, who knows all things and understands all things and explains all things, right? Now creates Adam and tells Adam that I'm sitting right in the middle of you. I'm setting up a tree. So was evil created from? So was evil created to form a balance that's between good and evil? Yes, of course, because if there was no balance, then it would tilt. Then there would not be anything called good. The only reason why a thing called good exists is because a thing called evil exists. Just as we have the North and the South Pole, right? You cannot have good without evil, because then what makes it good? You cannot have black and not have white. Then what makes it white? The only reason you call one white is because you call one black. If there was never a thing called white, or there was never a thing called black, then you would never know there's a thing called white. If there's not a positive, then you never know there's a negative. But a positive exists. It's just like when you are trying to bring electricity to your building, right? Shalom, shalom, Jacob, daughter of Jacob daughters. Shalom, family. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, I'm new, so I'm not getting used to your names, right? Do you understand? So it's just like trying to bring electricity into your family or into your household, right? When you bring this electricity wires, electricity power or cable into your house, you realize that the electricity cable has a live wire and has an earth wire. The two wires are what is bringing the balance in the electricity you are introducing to your house. When the live wire is not working, you're not going to have power. And when the neutral wire or the earth wire is not also amongst the power supply, then everything is going to electrocute you in the house. So that which brings the balance is the opposite of each other. Just like the woman exists and the man exists, duality, yes, exactly, duality. Just as the woman exists and the man exists to complement each other, it's the same way evil exists to complement good. Do you get what I'm saying? It is the same way evil exists to complement good. Without evil, there will not be a thing called good. Do you understand? Just as it is said that if you don't know pain, you will never know joy. Exactly, Ivan. You cannot have left and not have right. Right? So you have left and then you have right, which brings the balance. So the 2 years, the minute 1 year gets chopped off, you lose balance and you don't walk straight anymore as a human being. So the 2 years are here to bring balance in your posture, in your walk. So evil was created by the infinite wisdom to bring balance to good. Just like the night brings balance to the day, and the positive brings balance to the negative. The rain brings balance to the sunny day. The winter brings balance to the summer. Are you getting where I'm going with this? The male brings balance to the female. So each and every side is going to bring balance to. Without balance, the world cannot be what it is. Just as we have the cold weather, we have the heat. We cannot live in the weather. We cannot. It's just like living in the North Pole, right? Where the sun shines at a very minimal rate. See how the place is. Do you want to live in the North Pole? I don't want to live in the North Pole. And even that is not cold enough. So imagine the world has no heat. It will be a world with no heat. And it will be an ice age. A majority of people are going to die. So the divine creator, the divine wisdom ensured that evil exists so that it can bring the balance of good. Without the knowledge of evil, you cannot be good. See, a lot of people are always constantly bashing evil, 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 evil. How are you good? The only reason why you are good is because you know that the other thing, when you go and do the other thing, you do an evil thing. A lot of people read Genesis and say that, why did Adam eat the fruit? And why did Adam eat the fruit? And why did Adam shouldn't have eaten the fruit, and Adam was supposed to stay away from the fruit? Well, spoiler alert, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Creator intended Adam to eat the fruit in the garden. The fruit of the knowledge of evil and good. The Creator intended for Adam to eat it. Oh, yes. So make me understand this. If the Creator had no intention for Adam to eat the garden, the fruit in the garden, the fruit of knowledge of good and evil in the garden, question, why would the Creator put it right in the middle? In the middle of everything. Right? I mean, he's supposed to be all-knowing, right? All-powerful. He's supposed to know the weaknesses of man. So the Creator created man and told man, don't eat it. Right? Then he sat down and said, wait a minute. I know man. Men are routine. When you tell a man don't do this, the man don't do it. When you tell a man do it, the man do it. Men are routine like that. Women are adventurous, right? Women are constantly trying to discover new things and try new things. That is your nature. That is how the Creator made you. There's nothing wrong with it. But men, on the other hand, like to play by the rules, like to stay. Men are a bit stiff-necked, right? They are stiff. They are set in their ways. That is how come when it comes to romance, women do all the romance and suggest all the things, and the men are, we just men. We just men. Right? So the Almighty, the Creator, never intended for the man not to have eaten the fruit. If that was the case, there was no way the Creator was going to plant the tree right in the middle of the garden. So the Creator man told man, don't eat it. The man said, all right, I'm not going to eat it. Creator waited. The man is not eating it. Like, wait a minute. Already, he had asked the man to multiply and to fill the earth. Let's read it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Let me open the scriptures. Genesis. Let me show you something. Something you probably have not paid attention to. Genesis. Let's go to Genesis 1. Genesis 1. It says what? First command. 50, Genesis 1:15 says, then the Creator placed man in the Garden of Eden and told Eden to tend and watch over it. But the Creator warned him, you may freely eat the fruit of every tree in the garden, except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. For if you eat of its fruit, you are sure to die. What is death to Adam? This is a man that has no knowledge of death, has never buried anybody in his life, has never had any funeral in his life, does not know any relative that is dead, has never seen, tasted of known death, and all of a sudden the Creator is telling this man that you are going to die. What is death to Adam? What does death mean to Adam? So when you say, for in the day that you eat of it, you will die. In the day you will die. The question is, did Adam die in the day that Adam ate of the fruit? So obviously this death is not the physical death that everybody is talking about. And beside the physical death is just a passage to the next dimension of life. That is it, right? So when the Creator said, for in the day that you eat of the fruit, you will die, the question is, what was he going to die of? What is death to Adam? Adam had never known death, right? Let me continue. You will die. 18. Then the Creator said, it is not good for man to be alone, right? Now he's created man. He's told man, man, don't eat it. And the man says, all right, I'm not going to eat it. You know, man, when you tell the man in the house, make sure nobody goes out of the house, you know the man is going to keep that rule, right? You know the man is not going to allow anybody to go out of the house, because that's just how men we are. We are strict to the core. We just obey. So he said, don't eat it. The man said, all right, I'm not going to eat it. I don't have a problem. I'm not going to eat it. Then the Creator was like, wait a minute. If I just let man stay in the garden, then the purpose of creating man would never be achieved. I got to kick man out of the garden. It's just like when your son is 18, 19 years old, you're ready to kick your son out of the house because your son is now a man, right? And you need your son to go get a job or something. So in as much as you love your son and you want to keep your son, you know it's now time for the man to go and be a man. So the Creator created man to have dominion over everything that he's created. And the man is still sitting in the garden. The Creator like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I know I told you to stay here, but what are you still doing here? Right? So the Creator, okay, let me not go into it. The 18 says what? Then the Creator said, it is not good for, so are you meaning to tell me when the Creator created man from the beginning, the Creator didn't know it wasn't good for man to be alone? I mean, do you have to be the creator of the universe before you come to understand the fact that it's simply not good for man to be alone? Have you seen a man that is alone for a while? The man becomes crazy. You start talking to yourself and you start having conversations with yourself and you start going crazy. It's not good. We all know, if you know it's not good for man to be alone. Right? So now all of a sudden the Creator comes to his senses and say, wait a minute, I think it's not good for man to be alone, because he told man don't. So the man says, I won't. Right? The Creator created the tree of good and evil. Shalom prophet, how you doing? Created the tree of good and evil and planted it right in the middle. You and I know if you want to hide something from somebody, you don't put the thing right in the middle, right in the face or in front of the person. You put it in the person's face. You put a candy to the child's face and tell the candy, I'm going to town, but make sure you don't eat this candy. I'm warning you, make sure you don't touch this cookie. Make sure you don't touch this cookie. You get what I'm saying? How ridiculous that sound? You and I know the child is going to touch the cookie. What are you saying? Right? So he says, I will make a helper who is just right for him. Question, what was this helper coming to do? He created man. He told man to tend to the garden and do all of that. man was doing it, all of a sudden he says he needs a helper. What was this helper coming to do? The helper was coming to help man fulfill his potential, fulfill the reason why man was created, right? So you go ahead to read. It says what? And he gave names and what have you and all of that. And so he created man and caused a deep sleep to fall on the man. And I'm there's the bone of my bone. This explains why a man is injected, right? So let's go to Genesis 1, Genesis 2. Trying to get a particular verse. Particular verse. Hold on. Yes, Genesis 1:28. Genesis 1:28 says what? This is before he literally created man out of the ground, right? And created a woman. So the original intent for the man being created was that the man does what? Genesis 1:28. Then God blessed, the Creator blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish. So he told the man, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth. You need to understand the garden was not on the whole of this earth. The garden was just at the corner, just at the small place of the earth. Right? But yet he told him, be fruitful and multiply and fill the whole earth. Let me ask a simple question. How on earth was the man going to fill the whole earth in the garden? How was the man going to do that? How was the man going to fill an entire earth just staying in the garden? So this means right from the beginning, when the Creator planted the knowledge of good, remember, the tree didn't only contain the knowledge of evil, it also contained the knowledge of good. And I already explained that the only how you can have the knowledge of good is that you possess the knowledge of evil. Without the knowledge of evil, you cannot know what is good. Right? If you don't know what is good, then how then do you go about making the good choices? Do you get where I'm going with this? If you don't have the knowledge of good, how do you go about making the good choices? And the only how you can have the knowledge of good is that you have the knowledge of evil. Because evil helps you make you know what is good. Are you getting what I'm saying? Evil helps you know what is good. So without the evil, you would never know what is good. And already the Creator is telling them, you got to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. How are they going to fill the entire earth sitting in a garden? So when he told them, I'm planting the garden right in the middle of you, it's like, sorry if this is going to cause any trouble, lack of a better word. It's like a drug addict, right? Drug addict. And you were trying to send this drug addict to rehab. And while you send the drug addict to rehab, you put a drug right in the center of the bedroom of the drug addict. How on earth is this drug addict going to stay drug free, knowing very well you've placed a drug right in the middle of his room or her room? So the only reason why the Almighty, right, planted the garden of good and evil, he created it. He said everything he created was good. It was man that named it evil. I don't want to go into it. Let me not go there. Right? So he created it, knowledge of good and evil, and he said, listen, don't eat of it. What was he indirectly telling them? You got to eat of it. But the man was no way going to touch it, so the woman had to touch it. Right? Let me go. So fast forward, they eat it. We all know what happened, right? But the thing is that evil was not created by the devil, which is an established fact. Right? Genesis 3:22 says what? Behold, the man is become one of us. Ha. Knowledge is beautiful. So, the serpent, everybody looks at a serpent and say the serpent is a deceiver. Show me one lie the serpent told in this passage. Just one. The serpent showed up on the scene and said, said, did the Creator really say to you, you must not eat the fruit from any of the trees in the garden? Did the Creator really say to you, you must not eat of any of the fruit in the garden? And what did the woman say? The woman said, of course, we may eat the fruit from the trees in the garden. The woman replied, it is only the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden that we are not allowed to eat. It is only that one that we are not allowed to eat, but we are allowed to eat everything, right? Then the woman said, the Creator said, you must not eat or even touch it. If you do, you will die. Then the serpent said, you won't die. And of course, when they ate it, did you read from the scriptures that they died? So the serpent said, you won't die. What are you talking about, die? You're not going to die. Listen, I'm tempted to say certain things, but because I'm new, I want to drop the knowledge a bit on you, right? I don't want to say everything, right? So he says what? You won't die, the serpent replied to the woman. God knows that your eyes will be open as soon as you eat it, and you will be like God, knowing both good and evil. It means, even if you want to flip it around and say that, okay, the Creator never intended for them to eat, it means the only thing this God or the Creator, according to the story, the only reason why he never wanted them to eat it was because he didn't want them to become one of them. He didn't want man to become one of them, right? So the serpent said, no, that's not what's going to happen. When you eat it, you're not going to die. Your eyes are going to open, and you are going to know the difference between good and evil. Like I said, what was death to Adam? Adam never knew death. So if you're punishing Adam and you tell Adam, listen, everybody is going to die, you're going to die what is death? The woman was convinced. She saw that the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious. She wanted the wisdom of it. She wanted the wisdom it would give her. So the tree carried wisdom. So you wanted the wisdom, the ability to know right and wrong and decide what is right is wisdom. So the tree that they were being prevented from eating was not going to make them evil. The tree was only going to enlighten them for them to know what is right and what is evil. That's wisdom. The ability to know what to do and to do the right thing at all times is you possessing wisdom. It's you having wisdom. Says what? The woman wanted to know the wisdom. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it too. At that time, their eyes were open and suddenly felt shame of their nakedness. So they sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. Right? Then I want to read this part. I want to read this part. Genesis Genesis 3:22 says what? So after they've eaten it, the serpent didn't lie. Like I said, majority of us are made to believe, or Christianity makes you believe that the serpent is the devil. No, the serpent is not the devil. The serpent is the serpent. The serpent was created with wisdom. So scripture even described the serpent before the serpent told the woman to eat, that the serpent was the wisest of all the created animals. So the serpent was not evil. The serpent only came to tell them what the serpent knew by the wisdom the serpent possessed. Right? So the serpent said, eat it. You will not die. Your eyes will open and you know knowledge from good and evil. The 22 says, Genesis 3:22 says what? Then the Lord God said, look, the human beings have become like us. The human beings have become like us. They have become just like us. Meaning, all along, the knowledge of evil was with the spiritual beings. The Creator knew good from evil and possessed the knowledge of evil just as he possessed the knowledge of good. So you mean to tell me the intention of the Creator that created man in his own image was that the man never become like him, like the spirit beings? Now there's a reason why the scripture says the man has become one of us. There's a reason it says the man has become like one of us. That is why I'm telling you that the Creator never intended for the man not to eat of the garden, the fruit in the garden. Because if he intended for the man not to eat it, then he would have protected. Just as after the earth, when you go down, he says what? After sending them out, the Creator stationed mighty cherubims to the east of the garden, and he placed a flaming sword that flashed back and forth to guide the way of the tree of life. The question is, if the Creator from the onset never intended for the man to eat of the garden, why didn't he think of protecting this fruit? Just as after the earth, he didn't want them to eat of the tree of life, so now he protected the tree of life so they don't come back to eat it. Why didn't he protect it? Is he not supposed to be the all-knowing one? Why didn't he protect it from the men eating of it? Because evil is just knowledge. Evil is not demonic. Evil is not controlled by the powers of darkness. Evil is controlled by the Creator who created it. It's what you do with the knowledge of evil that makes you follow suit on that line. Do you understand what I'm saying? You are not evil by knowing what is evil. You become evil when you practice what is evil. By the knowledge of evil, you don't become evil just by knowing. It's just like saying, I know that when you smoke weed, it makes you die. When you smoke crack, when you smoke, when you sniff cocaine, it makes you die. It doesn't mean I'm a drug addict. It doesn't mean I sniff cocaine. It doesn't. Just like knowing, when you sleep with a woman without protection, you will catch a virus or you impregnate a woman, right? It doesn't mean that I've gone to impregnate a woman or anything. When the man ate the tree of good and evil, the man became like them, like the creators, like the spiritual beings. That's what I'm saying. I'm new, so I don't want to drop certain things. Yet I'll drop them. I'll teach you certain things. That is when you come to understanding that there's no. We have the Almighty Creator, the Father of all, and we have the other creators, just as you are a creator. I'm going to continue tomorrow because my time is up. I don't want to go beyond 45 minutes. But evil was not created by the devil. Neither was evil created by the popes. Neither was evil created by Christianity. Evil has always been in existence. Just as good has always been in existence. Just as wisdom has always been in existence. It is just knowledge. It is what you do with good. What you do with the knowledge of good makes you good. The same thing, what you do with the knowledge of evil makes you evil. The fact that you know evil doesn't make you evil. The fact that you know what is good doesn't make you good. It's the application of what is good that makes you good. And it's the application of what is evil that makes you evil. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? So knowing something is not wrong. It's what you do with what you know. Evil is not wrong. What you do with evil is what makes you evil. Good is not good until you have practiced and implemented the good that you know. Now, the reason why I'm touching on this subject, the knowledge of good and evil, is because I want us to go back to our fathers before Christianity and ask the question, did the service of our fathers, did our fathers do evil by their religious practices? Was our fathers evil just because they were not Christians? I want to talk about that tomorrow. Stay blessed. Have a great evening. Love this community. Bless you, Prophet Mikhael, Massa, for this opportunity to be here. Bless everyone in this community, everyone that came live. I honor you. Bless you. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Share this page to a friend, to a loved one. We're going to have a lot of teachings. We're going to equip ourselves. Listen, we're going to come out. It is not enough to just talk about the fact that you are this or that or that. It is the application of the knowledge that you know that makes you who you are. Stay blessed. I love you. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Have a great evening. Shalom.